For the last 4 years, I've tried and tested everything to do with training. Bodybuilding style training, powerlifting, endurance-based, circuits, functional fitness, you name it, I've tried it. Over the past 6 months, I've completely transformed my physique and found what actually works if you're trying to develop your physique too. I've just finished my 6-month gaining phase in prep for my photo shoot in November, and in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did with my training to develop my physique and actually put on some muscle. So hopefully you can take something away from this video and actually put it into your own training so you can start making some real progress with your physique. The first thing I did was actually stick to the same training split for this whole period of the 6-month block of me being in a gaining phase. Now, with social media being present, controversial views are getting chucked out left, right and centre. I literally have lads come to me saying they don't even know what to do anymore because they're so confused on what they see on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's very, very confusing, and I get it. I used to be exactly the same. I used to follow whatever TikTok and Instagram said. I used to change my split every couple of weeks. Therefore, I couldn't get the data that I needed to be able to progress from each and every lift. So what I did was created a split from scratch where I prioritized the muscle groups that I wanted to bring up in order for me to grow them while being in a calorie surplus. Therefore, they get a lot more stimulus to them and I can train them harder. That way I could actually enjoy going to the gym instead of it being a task, because I'm prioritizing the muscle groups that I want to bring up and doing the exercises that I actually enjoy so I can get stronger at them and progress them over time. If you are anything like how I was, swapping splits every couple of weeks isn't going to do you any favors. All you're going to do is lose all of the data you've gathered from those couple of weeks. Therefore, when you go into the new split, you have nothing to work from. You have no numbers to get. You have nothing to try and be stronger at. All you're doing is going into a new training split completely blind, not even knowing what weight to pick because you haven't done said exercise or said style of training before. But when you have been running the same training split for a while, it's game on when you go to the gym. You know exactly what exercises you're doing. You know exactly how to perform each exercise with correct execution because you've mastered the movement pattern over time, and you know exactly what numbers to get to try and get stronger and progress in your physique. If you have no idea where to start with trying to create your own training split, I have 3, 4 and 5 day training splits in the description below, so you can pick what one is suited to you and work off of that. These exercises inside the split has been tried and tested by myself, so I know exactly what works. I've tried everything, believe me, and these are the exercises, sets, reps and exercise cues that have actually stuck with me so I can start seeing some real muscle growth in my physique. So click the link in the description and let me know how you find the splits. Once I found a training split that I actually enjoyed and could stick to for long enough, I started learning proper execution. Now this is the bit where most lads miss out on because it's a bit boring, it's a bit repetitive, but this is arguably the most important thing when trying to grow muscle. I think a lot of lads think how I used to think when it comes to progressing in the gym. They think the more weight you lift equals more muscle grown. Your main focus in the gym should be using the certain amount of load to train a muscle. It isn't the other way around. It isn't using your muscles to move as much weight as possible. It's so you can create enough stimulus for the muscle that you're trying to train to adapt and grow back stronger. When you next go into the gym, I want you to film a top set that you do throughout your workout. I want you to look at the tempo of the movement and I want you to look at the joint alignment and the movement pattern as a whole. If anything looks a bit rushed or the movement pattern is breaking down over time because what weight you're lifting is too much, then you know you're lifting too heavy and you're using that massive ego of yours. When you're actually in the set, it may feel like you're training really hard, but it's only until you start filming your sets and actually watching it back is realizing that you could have actually done better and you're probably not training to the intensity and to the right level of execution that you need to. So once you film that set, and if you see anything wrong with it, and then the next time you go to do that exercise, maybe add a pause somewhere in the movement, slow down the tempo and increase the range of motion. See if you can do that with the exact same weight and I'll be very impressed. When lads do that, they can't lift anywhere near as much as they thought they would because their execution has been off this whole time they've been training. The bottom line is your execution should be your main priority when you're going into the gym, not what load you lift. Once execution is in a good spot, you need to be looking at your training intensity. I used to think I was training really hard, but that was because I was mentally tapping out before I physically could, which means I wasn't actually training to true failure. Your body needs a new stimulus to adapt to. So if you're mentally giving up before you physically can, and you knew if someone had a gun to your head saying do one more rep, and you knew you could, you are leaving gains on the table. That is not true failure. And those grinders you get at the end of the set are the ones that matter the most because they recruit the most muscle fibers possible and they break down the most muscle fibers possible. So that way your muscles will grow back stronger and bigger if you recover correctly. Now we've got the main three down, sticking to the same training split, looking at your training execution and your training intensity. But all of that doesn't even matter if you're going to change it up every single week. This was one of the main things I struggled with. I used to change my split every single week, change my exercise setup, which just led to me not actually making any real progress. The main reason why I changed my exercise setup every single time I went into the gym was because I wanted to lift heavier. I wanted to fuel my ego and think I'm growing muscle, but in reality, I'm not really doing anything. I used to go into the gym one week, complete a fairly decent, well-executed set, go into the gym the next week, try and put 10 kilos more on, and my form would completely break down. I couldn't even train to intensity because I was just worried about moving the weight from A to B. In order to make true training progressions, you need to have the same exercise setup, intensity and execution when you go and do said exercise. If one week you get, say, 50 kilos on an exercise with the exact same setup, tempo, intensity and execution, and then the next week you go and do that exercise again with the exact same setup and you lift 2.5 kilos more for the exact same amount of reps, job done. That is true training progressions. You've added 2.5 kilos onto your lift while keeping everything the same. So you're almost guaranteed to make some progress from that. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to work with myself, I have one-to-one coaching spaces open at the minute. So click the link below to the Instagram, message me the word coach, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But for now, hit like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.